Welcome to Puckin Around Podcast. Join the gang, Carmen, Mike, Mika and Daryl for some Puckin talk.
Good evening, guys, and welcome to the Puckin Round update. We haven't done videos in a long time, and it's been a while, but we've decided to get back into it. Today it won't be a full-on podcast. It's just going to be an update by me, Carmen, as some news is coming in for the Oilers and for other teams as well. But I think what we're going to do is just focus on the Oilers for today. This isn't going to be a long update, just maybe like 5 to 10 minutes. But I think we have to start talking about what the Oilers are going to be doing now with the trade deadline just right around the corner. I believe after the Olympics, there's only going to be 2 weeks left until the deadline. So seems like there's two deadlines this year. There's one leading up to the Olympics, and then one after. So we've already seen some activity with Carson Soucy getting traded to the Islanders and New Jersey giving away Palat for quite a bit, to be honest. I thought New Jersey did pretty good in that deal, although some people think that New Jersey did pretty bad. But I think the trade they made with the Isles was good. It worked out for both teams. But the main reason that I wanted to do this update was because of the rumors that are coming down from Edmonton, um, from where I am at the moment. But based off what Bob Stauffer said on Oilers Now yesterday, and based off what Friedman said when he was on his show about Bobby McMahon being a pretty good fit with the Oilers. And speaking of that, today Stauffer was also talking about Scott Laughton and Bobby McMahon. So maybe those are two options for the Oilers that they could probably look into. I have one theory, well, not really a theory, but maybe like a bit of a pipe dream that I'll get into after. But I thought we would look into what the Oilers are going to be aiming for with the deadline. So, if there are like Oiler fans that think that we're gonna go for a defenseman, I don't think that's gonna happen. That may happen if maybe like a team falls off like the playoff drive pretty quickly. So maybe like a Connor Murphy or someone like that. But like I wish we could get it. I wish the Oilers could get another defenseman that's right-handed, but I just don't think that's gonna happen. But I thought I'd focus more on like the Oilers like bottom six and what players could be available. Um, I'm gonna go from ranking the players from most likely to least likely. So number one, I'm gonna put it as Bobby McMahon from Toronto. He has 17 goals and 10 assists, I believe. He only makes 1.35 million. He's done pretty good in the seasons he's played for Toronto. He had, I believe, around 15 goals his first year, then 20 last year, and now he's already up to 17. He has 27 points, and he doesn't make that much money. So I think aiming for a player like that, for like in terms of Edmonton, would be pretty good. He also only makes 1.35 million, although he's a UFA next year, so that does like I guess that brings his value down, but also it's a bit of a risk for the Oilers or other teams because he may not sign or he may ask for more money. But he's also from Edmonton. He's from Wainwright. I believe I got that right. Yes, Wainwright. And that may make him maybe take a pay cut and stay. But we have to remember he's only played 3 seasons and he is 29 at the moment. So maybe he's at that mature age where maybe he knows that he's not going to get as much out there. So maybe if he comes to Edmonton, he'll take less money. Let's hope so. He's my number one target. I'm like in terms of what Bob Stauffer has been saying, what he tweeted today about a top nine winger who has speed and size and tenacity. Although Bob McMahon isn't as tenacious. Well, he is tenacious. He does play like Zach Hyman. His penalty minutes aren't what I thought it would be. I thought he would have more, but he has 50, no, 40, I believe it's 52 penalty minutes this year, which isn't like if you look at the Oilers' bottom six, I say that's pretty good. But I think he's the type of player that the Oilers need. Now, my second option it may not be as popular, but the Oilers had two scouts at the Isles and Rangers game today, and that made me think like which player could they be looking at because the Islanders they want to go to the playoffs. They're not selling. The Rangers are selling their open season. So who's one player from the Rangers that can fit into what the Oilers' game plan is? And I think that's Will Cooley. He's having a pretty decent season. He had 20 goals last year. This year he has 12 goals and 14 assists, so 26 overall. He is a minus player, but I mean, on the Rangers, why would you not expect that? And he does make 3.9 million. So the Oilers would have to move Mangiapane, or they would have to make the Rangers take a like they would have to retain on his salary. And he's only 23 years old. So that also makes you doubt if the Rangers will move him, but they know they can get quite a bit from him. I mean, look what Kiefer Sherwood got, 2 second-round picks. But I mean, at the beginning, teams were saying that he could get a first. It didn't happen. They had to take on the 2 second-round picks. I really wanted him for the Oilers, but the price was way too high. So moving on from Will Cooley, let's move on to the other target. So these two targets are from Columbus, and that's Charlie Coyle and Boone Jenner. Charlie Coyle is having a pretty good season. He has 35 points already, and he's doing really well with Columbus. But I mean, the value for him is going to be extremely high because in terms of forwards, there aren't that many available, at least in terms of centers. And he's a center. He's big. He can penalty kill. He can play in a power play. He can score. He can pass. I remember when he was in his draft year and everything. I was a big fan of his, and I really wanted the Oilers to trade for him. I believe when he was back in Minnesota. Fortunately, it didn't happen, but I'm a big fan of his. I know Bob Stauffer is as well. So hopefully that's someone that the Oilers do try to target. And then there's Boone Jenner. That is the least likely player that the Oilers may be able to get, in my opinion, but he's also the player that the Oilers desperately need because he can play center, he can play wing, he can penalty kill, he can score over 25 goals, he can hit, he can be a leader. The cost for him is going to be so high, and I still think that even if like a player like McMahon and or Cooley is what we're aiming for, at least start at the top. Start with a player like Boone Jenner and Coyle. If you can't get them, work your way down. I think that's how the Oilers should work. And those are the players that they should target. Okay, so now for the like what my pipe dream is. I don't think not everyone's gonna be a fan of it, but Stoffer was talking with these two players today. One is McMahon, the other one's Scott Laughton. Half his salary is already retained by Philadelphia when Toronto made that trade for him, a first round pick for him, which was just I don't know. I'm not sure what Toronto was thinking there. He hasn't really been good with Toronto ever since that trade happened, but his salary is also split in half. I believe it's 50%. So both make less than $2 million. Combine those two together, you reach around like 3.4, 3.5. I think the Oilers could make both those players work by moving Mangiapane, but at the same time, like move Mangiapane and then make a trade for both of them combined from Toronto. I don't know if that could work, but that's like what I think. Like it's not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but if the Oilers could do that, they've completely changed their bottom six for the playoffs, and it would be playoff ready. It would put into question where Roslovic and Savoy would play, or Curtis Lazar, who's been great for the Oilers. I mean, I wasn't a fan of the signing at the time, but he's been very, very good with the Oilers so far. It would put that into question. I do want Lazar as a center, but we also know that Lawton can play wing. So imagine if the Oilers bring those two players in, and then from there, they'd have a revamped bottom six. The top six is already good. The defense is still, I don't think it's good enough. Darnell Nurse is okay. I was a big fan of Nurse last year and the year before, but this year he's fallen off a wagon, and you know, I mean, people are going to jump at the coaching. I think the Oilers shouldn't have moved on from Paul Coffey, but maybe he wanted to leave. We're never going to know anything about that until like an update comes, but I doubt we're going to know anything about that. But on defense, I do think the Oilers should be looking into it, although I don't think it's going to happen. But in terms of the update that I wanted to do, this was the update. We may have a podcast coming out tomorrow. Um, if it does happen, it'll be after the game, and it'll be around like 20 to 30 minutes. It'll probably be about the game and maybe a trade happens tomorrow too, but just discussion around that and mostly weather related. So if anyone's interested in listening tomorrow, please join us and just give us a follow on Twitter or X and the YouTube account as well. Thanks so much for listening, guys, and we'll probably see you the next day on an official podcast again. Good night.